What's up, guys? TA Tech here. Welcome back to another TA Tech News Weekly. We're here with Joe, Screen on Time. What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for accepting, man. Yeah, I've seen you around X, and I said, I need to get some new people on. I try my best to get some new people on. Sometimes, you know, between schedules like you and I, where I'm in the U.S., you're in across the pond there, so it does get a little bit crazy sometimes, but we make things work. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the things you do on YouTube?
Oh, where do I start? So I first started on YouTube on a channel. I don't know if you know Lenny Bonsignori. He's a
Yep.
big pixel guy. But anyway, I used to really help out him doing some editing. I did some thumbnails. The plan was that I was gonna just run socials, but I didn't do that in the end. I ended up doing other stuff.
Gotcha.
And I made the odd video, really pants, but I gave it a go. Um, but Lenny stopped really making videos. We renamed the channel to the Nomad Tech Project,
Oh, okay.
um, which is the name of my podcast with Sam. But that's another story. I have to get
Uh-huh.
into that in a minute, maybe. But my channel, I just sort of always wanted to do my own channel.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm not a very confident guy though, so I haven't really bothered doing it from. Finally, last year I thought, okay, let's give it a go. But
Right.
I haven't really made much still. It's my own blockers that I have with myself.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I feel you on that. I mean, I've been on YouTube for 7 years now, and
nice.
I still struggle. So you just take it day by day, and I honestly, like I said, I still struggle sometimes making videos and just trying to keep consistent. But I've learned that over the years, you just got to do your thing and not try to copy other people
Yeah, absolutely, man.
or
Yeah.
worry
And do you know
about,
what?
I'm
The
down
key
here,
thing you
you're
said,
up here.
the key thing you said there is consistency.
Yeah.
Um, it is a lot about consistency. If you look at Tech Odyssey, for example, Adam
Yes.
Matlock's done amazing and he's been very consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of his videos are him talking to a camera, and that's it.
Right. Right. Yeah, I love his videos as well. I actually have been trying to get him on the podcast as well. So, man, if you're watching, hit me up. We'll do something. But yeah, so I always ask my guests. I we did talk about it a little bit when we DM'd on X. Android or iOS?
I am very much an Android guy.
Gotcha.
Very, very much. My missus is iOS, but I'm Android all through and through.
Oh, okay. And have you ever tried iOS?
Yes, I have, and actually more recently I have, because I
Okay.
thought, you know what, I can't keep saying I don't like iOS when I haven't tried it for a long time.
Yeah.
So until more recently, I had an iPhone 13 Pro Max as my
Oh, okay.
work phone, and
Gotcha.
I just don't like the navigation. I don't like the file management.
Hmm.
Um, and they're two quite fundamental things for me. I can
Hmm.
see why people love it because there is
Right.
lots of great things there, to be honest. But yeah, for me, yeah, it wasn't the one.
Yeah, I actually say the same thing about Android. I really haven't tested it out, thoroughly in a while. My last Android full time was an S3 back,
Oh wow,
years ago. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I didn't really. I'm not. I guess I'm not a Samsung person. I didn't really care for it. I had this issue, and I keep saying this, and I think it was just something that was happening back then, and things have gotten better. But I would be on an application and suddenly get the notification saying that the certain application had stopped. I'm like clearly running in that application. You click the OK button. A lot of people said that that was just a bug that was happening. I mean, if that was a bug, then that was a bug that was happening consistently. I mean, for me, consistently like every day, multiple times a day,
Yeah,
and
that's poor.
it was never fixed. So came back to iOS, and here I am to this day. I have tried very briefly a Pixel 4.
Okay, nice.
And honestly, if I were to be Android person, I think I would go to Pixel because to me, I think it's similar to the iPhone and a little bit smoother. I guess it's different from Samsung.
Yeah, it's certainly. Do you know what? It's funny you say that because if anyone asks me if they're gonna try Android as an iPhone user,
Mhm.
I would direct them to Pixel. So
Really?
it's funny you say that.
Why would
Go
you?
on. Yeah, because like the reason you said, it is pretty fluid. It's
Yeah,
quite simplistic OS. Like Pixel is nice, simple.
yeah,
But
yeah,
there is
and
some similarities to
yeah.
iOS, definitely.
I, I was thinking about it, and I mean, I haven't said it publicly on my podcast or anything, but I have been thinking about it. I'm trying to find a cheap one somewhere. I honestly, I did like the Pixel 4, but my thing is, and I don't know if you'll agree, my thing is software. If I don't get some software updates, I don't want it. And that's the same thing with the iPhone or Apple products. If they stop doing the updates, I don't want it. I need a new device because I need something that is consistent with updates and especially for like the security reasons, the little bug fixes and stuff like that. I think it is very essential. So I when I
Absolutely.
hear people saying, "Oh, I'm running, you know, this old phone from I don't know when that doesn't update anymore," I'm like, "And why haven't you upgraded? Like what?"
Yeah, yeah. I get
So
it if it's a toy, maybe,
yeah.
but not as the
So
main device.
it's just like, like I said, I really feel like I do need to get my hands on one because I feel like for the channel wise, consistently talking about iPhone, I've seen it more and more. I've been feeling it more and more. It gets boring after a while. It
Yeah,
does, so a little change of pace. I mean, yeah, now you can do more customizations and stuff like that. I'm gonna be the first to say it, and I've never admitted this. I don't think it's ever gonna get to the point Android's at. They can throw customizations, they can throw this, that, whatever, but it's never gonna be at the same point as Android. I have said before that in terms of software look and the device looks, that will stay the same. I think honestly, the only thing different will be eventually is software. I think all
mm,
phones are going to look the same, no matter. I mean, look at Android now,
yep,
Samsung's and Google Pixels. You look at the front display, you don't know what you're looking at
yeah,
unless you actually know because they both have the hole punch design, and the only thing different is the software and the way they look on the back, you know?
yeah. Yeah,
So I
they're getting very similar now, aren't they?
yeah,
Because everyone copies each other. They take a little
it's
bit of the
cool,
best stuff from there, the best stuff
you
from
know?
there.
I love how people say, "Oh, you guys on iPhones are copying us on Androids," and it's like, well, what more is there to do? So obviously, all these companies trying to overlap and copy each other. That's just the way things go. Like,
I'm all
I
for it,
mean, yeah,
like give me all the good stuff.
yeah,
So
exactly. I
I'm
mean,
using
I give them.
an Honor at the moment, right?
Yep.
And it's the first Android device with a 3D face unlock,
Oh wow.
and it's beautiful, man. And that's
Yeah,
obviously something iPhone users have celebrated for a long time. But it's so good in the dark. Bang, I'm in my phone. So
yeah,
easy.
yeah. I
I'm all
love it.
for it.
We're supposed to be getting an iPhone SE 4 at some point. I'm not sure how much
Mm,
you follow Apple,
yeah,
and I mean, hopefully by the time this podcast goes out, it's already out and in people's hands. I don't know, so. And I'm glad that they're actually adopting the new design with Face
mm,
ID and stuff like that. I was all for the fingerprint design. I really was. But now that we have Face ID and I see how much quicker it is compared to fingerprint ID, man, like just give it Give it to all the devices.
See, for me, I think Apple's missing a trick, right? They should have the fingerprint scanner from the iPads because they're great. Have the
Yeah,
face unlock as well. Give both.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, I completely agree, and I've said that before. I
Mm,
honestly think that they need both because, especially in the wintertime,
yeah,
we're outside in the cold. Sometimes fingerprint doesn't work, so at least you have Face ID.
yeah,
You don't know how many times back iPhone 7 and 8 days, we would have to take off the glove, and I mean, now
yeah.
they have these perfect gloves that work with these screens and stuff. A lot more people need them, I think. Now, it's very rare that I see some, but I got some for Christmas, and I'm like, "Wow, where was this, like, 5, 10 years ago when we actually needed it?"
So many of them gloves don't work. So, I've tried some before, and they're like, "This is
Yeah,
rubbish."
it is a hit or miss sometimes. I will
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
that. I will give you that. But yeah, man, like I just feel like technology in itself, I feel like is progressing so much. I really enjoy
Mm.
it. What is your favorite Android in
Ooh,
2025?
that's a big question. It's a big, big question. Um, I'm gonna find that difficult to answer really because I'm going through a very experimental stage. So I was a Pixel guy for a little while.
Oh,
Love
okay.
Pixel. Love point and shoot. The point and shoot camera on there.
Yeah.
But as I've got more into photography, I've started looking at the hardware of the Chinese devices. So like
Yep.
Vivo X100 Ultra I had last year
Right.
was amazing,
Yeah.
fantastic,
Yeah.
loved it. So yeah, it's hard for me to. I'd have to make my perfect phone from different OEMs. I think.
I do have a question for you.
Hmm.
I usually ask this to my guests. I hadn't in a while. I asked my Ike, my last guest, if you were a CEO of a company, what companies, like what parts from other companies would you steal to make your own device?
Oh, that's a good one. So I can't. I'd have to go with the 3D face unlock from this Honor for a
Mhm.
start. That's great. Um, the cameras, I think I'd go with. It's either Xiaomi. I've never tried Xiaomi yet, but I like. I don't know if you heard of Jermaine
Yep.
Concept Creator through
Yep.
Jermaine Lens. He does great videos, and
Yeah.
I really
Amazing.
like the feeling. Talks about feeling in photos a lot. The
Mhm.
feeling you get from Xiaomi images. So I think maybe Xiaomi's cameras or Vivo because I really enjoyed the X100 Ultra.
Right.
Um, so their camera hardware from there. I do really like a lot of the stuff you can do with Samsung's One UI. Um, I haven't played with One UI 7 much yet, but I'm
Right.
hearing really good things. Now it's not for everyone because it's quite a heavy UI,
Mhm.
but the personalization you can do on that is fantastic.
Are you a
Uh,
beta tester?
no, no,
Oh, okay.
no. I just grab devices and have a play.
Right.
But yeah, I think yeah, maybe Samsung software,
Mhm.
just because it's so packed
Mhm.
full of things for everyone. And Galaxy AI stuff is actually good as
Yeah.
well. As far as
Yeah.
AI goes, they're very much in bed with Google, so
I
they've got all the
I feel
Google
like
goodness.
AI is like a whole nother level, especially with
Mm,
Apple. My main concern is battery life and stuff like that, and the overall lifespan of the phone. You know,
yeah,
uh,
definitely. I mean, that's why they're giving us phones with bigger batteries, right? Because they need to.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I feel, man, and I hear that they're going to next year with the iPhone 17. I hear that they're going to make it so we have better capacity battery basically in the same size phones. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Mm,
I have my um concerns about that because how and the thing is, how much better can you make the phone keeping it the same size without having to make it bigger and bigger? Because especially nowadays, I feel like phones. There was a time that phones were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller into like foldables, flips, and all this other stuff. So it's just like,
mm.
what are your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? I've been saying for years that they need to innovate with battery tech because they keep giving us new chipsets, new cameras, but it's the battery that I want them to work on. I had
Mhm.
the Honor V3. I don't
Yep.
know if you've seen that fold. It's a beautiful piece of hardware.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
so
It-
thin, and what they've done with the battery in that is pretty impressive.
right.
It's not massive battery to fit in something so thin like that is
Mhm.
impressive. So it shows that you can have a thin device with decent
Right.
battery capacity. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what their next foldable, how that look, because they're going to innovate more. That's a bit of a miss with the 7 Pro actually.
Mhm.
I felt they could have done a bigger battery in this. Look
Yeah.
how thick this bad boy is.
Holy moly.
It's not too weighty. It's okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
but it's certainly thick compared to the V3, which is a
How's the
fold.
now you have a case on that. How's the camera bump without the case?
You want to see it?
Yes.
It's quite a hefty, hefty one. Um,
That's another thing. Ooh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
That's
it's
another thing for me. I feel like the camera bumps in specifics, I feel like is just way too big.
yeah,
I'd like to see it go back to the days that it was just flat and worked because they were doing so well with giving us newer technology but keeping it at a decent size. Now it's like each year, and this goes for all phones, I feel each year they just get bigger and bigger and bigger and add more cameras. I've seen memes and stuff online and I'm just like, and, like, I've seen this one meme that literally the whole back of the phone was just the cameras, and I'm just like, "Is this our future? Like, is this what's gonna be happening?" Uh, I've seen I don't know what phone it was that I saw that was like a hexagon, and it had, like, 8 cameras, and I'm just like, "Okay." I th I personally thought 3 cameras was a bit much, but now that I'm seeing that, I'm like, "Do I really want something like that?" Like
it's a funny one though, because like it's all us techies who want
mm.
the newer hardware, right? Your general consumer doesn't care about that so much,
Yeah,
which is why Apple, Samsung, and even Google to a degree, they keep reusing the same hardware for years and years and years,
right.
because the general consumer doesn't care that much.
Exactly, exactly.
Um, Now, me being a techie, I do. I want the bigger sensors. Give me the 1-inch sensor.
Yeah,
Gi-
yeah.
Damn, stick a micro four thirds sensor in there if you can.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
then camera bump needs to get bigger then.
I have
So
here and I thought this was good at its time, the iPhone XR. I think something like this is pretty good.
for most
Um,
people's needs, yeah.
I mean, I I do think that maybe, one lens and getting that bigger and bigger and going back to like the iPhone 10 days where it had one lens but it had two cameras. I think that
Yeah.
would, that should come back. I guess we'll see what happens. Going back to like the S25 and stuff. What are your thoughts on those?
My initial thoughts when I looked at it is like, okay, it's all the AI stuff that's important. But actually, when you get hands on with one,
Hmm.
um, it is significantly lighter. You feel that straight away.
Yep.
It does feel really nice in the hands.
Right.
Giggity, as Flossie would say. Um, and that is significant for me because
Yep.
the ultras are quite bulky. Um, I haven't really tested it out much, but I've heard One UI is brilliant, although that will come down to the older devices eventually. Samsung
Right.
are very good for updates. Hardware wise, it's lazy, but
Mhm.
like I say, the general consumer don't care. I'm
Yeah.
not too happy about losing Bluetooth capability with a pen because I personally do use
A
that.
lot of people say that.
But apparently, not a lot of people did use it though, according to Samsung. I don't know.
I, that's weird to me. That's
Yeah,
honestly weird to
I
me.
don't like things going backwards.
Now that you say that, I really feel like things are going backwards in a lot of ways. What's going on? Like,
Mm.
what are your thoughts on the new Power Beats Pro?
So I don't know too much about them. I hear they've got the H2 chipset in them.
Yep.
So it should be pretty capable. I mean, they are basically Apple, but
Right.
they're cool brand, if you like. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you see that branding?
I think they're I think they're nice. I would love to see, and I actually said this in my video, that I just did. I would love to see the AirPods with that kind of design. I
Hmm.
think that's what we really need. Seeing how Beats is now like a part of Apple's family, I think honestly, I think the Power Beats are better than AirPods in many ways. I mean, just the design itself. I mean, this is coming from somebody who did have the Power Beats Pro first gen, but I've always been AirPods. The design and overall sound quality is a little bit better. I would love to see something that doesn't have in-ear tips though.
If
Um,
I go-to guy for any audio stuff is El Jefe.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
he's
love
great.
El
Yeah,
I
he's
need
a
him
great
on the
guy.
podcast. Well,
Yeah.
I see you have buds on right now. What are you using?
So these are, I can't remember what they're called now. Um, Moondrops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these.
I'm, is that is that a new company? Because I just like I never heard of them, but I'm starting to hear about them now.
Yeah, the Chinese actually came out of an audio sort of based phone last year.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I don't know if it was China only.
Mhm.
It had a headphone jack. Don't see
Yep.
that many times. I didn't hear much about it though, but it looked very interesting. But
Right.
Moondrop, they do some really lovely IEMs, really good.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
these are the Arias.
Oh, okay.
Is it Aria too? No, these are the original Arias. They're really nice. I mean, I'm not an audiophile. I'll be lying if I said I
Yeah.
know much with audio.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why I
not
wouldn't.
either. I'm not either.
Mm,
However, I will say, um, especially for the gym, I loved having my AirPods. There
yeah.
was one day, and I know people are gonna come at me, but there was one day that I didn't charge my AirPods before going to the gym, and
Okay.
I had these cheaper pair. I don't know if you're familiar with Brookstone. Um,
No, I've not heard of them.
you can. I'll try to send it to you after the podcast recording. I have the Brookstone Whisper NX, and they're cheaper. I think they were like $60. They sound awesome, and they have ANC. I mean, obviously, they're not gonna sound like the Beats,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
or AirPods Max or something like that. But they do really, really well, and I was shocked to see how well they did with the ANC at my gym. I put them on, and I realized that they had ANC, so I turned it on, and I could not hear a single thing. What annoys me the most when I'm going to the gym is hearing the loud music that they have in the background on the
oh,
radio.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Listen, I cannot. If I have my own music going, I want to hear my own music. I don't want to hear my music and
And yeah,
the whole place. And it just really irked me. So now I have AirPods 3, which I use when I'm home and whatnot. But when I'm out and I go to the gym or something, I have those Whisper X. Until I get something that's a little bit better, pricier, I'm good. Like honestly, I'm not an audiophile like you said. I'm not like
yeah.
El Jefe or any other audiophile out there.
Gamekey's good as well.
Gamesky, yeah. But I do appreciate ANC because I've never had ANC headphones or earbuds before.
Yeah,
And people say, "Oh, you should try the AirPods Pro with the ANC," and I'm just like, the one thing for me is the in-ear tips because when I'm doing my workout, sometimes they slip out, and and that just stops me and gets me annoyed.
yeah,
I have to stop and fix them and do whatever. I want to put a pair of headphones on, turn on my music, and go about my workout. I don't want to be there 5 hours just trying to figure out what to do. And
yeah.
you know,
Trying to get them in right.
yeah. Do you have a preference of like I don't know if you go to the gym or whatever, but do you have a preference of earbuds or over ear headphones?
Yeah, so I'm a Sony guy with the over the years. So I got XM5s. I
Oh,
love
okay.
them things. And I actually gave a pair to my missus. She runs with them. She
Oh,
loves
okay.
them as well.
Yeah.
Really, really great headphones. When it comes to buds and that, I'm a big fan of Soundcore.
Ooh,
Really a big fan of Soundcore. And I've got the
yes.
Liberty 4 Pros. Again, really good value for money. ANC is excellent on them.
Yeah.
Sound quality is good, and the app that accompanies it is actually
Mhm.
very good as well. So you can do an ear test on there, and it
Yep.
makes an EQ for you, or you can make a custom EQ, or you've got your standard ones like Rock and all that as well. But I find it really intuitive. The app it's a great product.
Mhm.
They're my favorite. I'd say Soundcore.
Yeah. Again, with the question, if you were a CEO, what kinds of things would you use to make your perfect headphones?
Oh, that's a good one. So I'd take things from Soundcore and Sony's apps
Mm,
together. Um, if I was going to be buds, I really like the sound cores I've got. You can actually control some elements from the case, so you can control the ANC from the case. You can see the little screen on there, and you can see the
yeah,
battery life. I think that's a real nice feature. Um, I don't know, man. I've not tested many to really
gotcha.
say, so I
Yeah,
can only go by the two that I've got. That
yeah,
I'd mix
that's a
mix and
great.
blend them.
I would honestly, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but I honestly like um the ones that I have. The Whisper and
Yeah,
X, I feel like and it's not so much the quality, the overall feel of the headphones, it's the sound quality that I really
yeah,
look into. If they're good enough to block out sound from wherever you are, I'm all there for it. Now, I'm not an audiophile. I haven't tested anything else, but I honestly feel and when I first started my channel, I started testing low budget smartwatches and
mm,
earbuds. Because honestly, like you see, when you look something up, you see these things. Like if you were to look up affordable earbuds or smartwatches, you'll see that they only suggest like from like $200-300.
yeah,
There,
yeah,
not a lot of people suggest things under 100. There's very few people. So I'm like, I want to do that because it's not every person that can afford $300-400 headphones. You
oh,
know what I mean?
I'm
For,
saying, man, and do you know what I think as well? I
go
think
ahead.
we're in a place with tech now where your cheaper stuff is damn good. You're getting some good value now.
It's
Um,
crazy. It's
but
crazy.
you do need channels and people out there testing it. And because I've tried some cheap stuff,
Yep.
and with ANC, for example,
Mhm.
you lose the sound stage
Yeah.
and you lose some sound quality.
Mhm.
Whereas there is some cheaper things out there that do a good job of that. Like the
Mhm.
ones you've got sound like they do that. But it
Yeah.
needs someone like you testing them and telling people, yeah, these are cheap, but they're good.
For the average person, I think they're, really good stuff out there. I've talked to people that I said, "Oh, you should get a smartwatch," and automatically they'll be like, "Oh, I don't have money for a Samsung watch or an Apple Watch." Okay, so don't get it. There's cheaper things out there that
Yeah,
work just as well. Yeah, you probably won't get, the latest and greatest software or as much tech that you get in Apple watches and Samsung watches and stuff. You get the essentials. You
yeah,
get the notifications. I have a watch called the AW Plus 12, I think it's called. And honestly, it's a sleek watch and it does what I need it to do. Yeah, I can't
mhm,
answer messages or phone calls or stuff like that, but I can at least see what's coming through and
yeah.
then decide, do I need to take out my phone?
And that's
And I
my main use case as well, right?
what seriously though,
Yeah,
seriously. I mean, with my Apple Watch, if I get a notification, I'm constantly looking, and then if it's a text message, you automatically reply without even thinking like, "Oh, I can't I shouldn't be replying right now, but here I am." Like, I feel like that's the thing. Also, I don't know how many people are gonna agree to this, but I think that the one feature the cheaper, smartwatches need, message responses. Like,
Yeah,
the automatic message response, if you can't give me a way to write my message, at least give me some message responses that
yeah.
coincide with the text message that you get. Now
Just simple things
smartwatches
like, "Oh,
have
I'll call you in 10 minutes," or "I'm busy right now," or something like that type of thing. Yeah,
if these companies gave you the essential responses, it would be good, and I think a lot more people would probably go for these, cheaper models, you know,
yeah.
the cheaper smartphone and smart, watches.
You should try and get your hands on, CMF, Buy Nothing.
No, no.
No?
I've seen a lot of videos on it, and I really wanna try.
Yeah,
I've reached out to other companies. You gave me a good idea because I've been reaching out to companies left and right to see if they would send me accessories and cases and stuff. I
mm,
should try to reach out to Nothing and to see. I mean, I'm not big or anything like that. I have reached out to companies already and they have sent me a lot of cases for my iPhone, but
yeah.
that's the one thing I should do. See,
Yeah,
'cause
give it a go, man.
there was one company that I tried to get a product from, and they weren't doing it. So I gotta look into it and maybe see if Nothing will send me that because my friend actually that's actually another Android device that I would be willing to try because that software and the hardware itself. I love the lights in the back of the phone for
Yeah,
notifications and stuff.
I tried the first one, the Nothing Phone
Did you?
1, and I really liked it, to be honest. I liked the software. The camera wasn't amazing at the time. It
Mm,
was okay, but I heard it got really, really good updates after I'd got rid of it, which is a
yeah.
shame. One thing I will say about their updates, they're brilliant, nice and clear as well. What it's updating, but the log is really really good. Yeah, I like Nothing. They're a brand that excite me.
I honestly think that these newer companies are doing a really great job. Surprisingly,
Yeah,
I would I would honestly say that Nothing is probably doing better than these other companies, the more
in
well-known
some
companies.
ways, definitely. Yeah, some
You
ways
know,
they're innovating. They're doing different things.
because I love their earbuds, the
Mm,
see-through earbuds that they have. I love that
yeah,
design, and like you said, the Nothing watch, the Nothing phone is like no one has ever had anything like that before.
no,
So I think that something different like that is pretty good. As long as they keep up with the software and, give software updates because I'm really, really big on software updates. Like,
yeah, I think it's important, and that's where people like Motorola have fallen down in the past.
mhm,
But even they're getting better now.
yeah,
I think Apple, Samsung, Google, they're pushing everyone to do more with
yeah.
their updates. So it's
I
going in the right direction.
I see a lot of people be like, "Oh, they have updates every other week and this, that, the other." Well, if you really look into it, these updates are important because you might not think it, but whether you have an iPhone or an Android, you're always vulnerable to getting your phone hacked or whatever, and viruses and all this.
There's nasty people out there.
Really nasty people. I had a friend, especially with social media. I think it's getting
Mm,
so bad. I
yeah,
have a friend that actually is going through trying to get all her accounts with 2FA and stuff like that because she was hacked. She's been hacked on Instagram a couple of times and hacked on TikTok. My thing is, how the heck did they get into her phone and do this? Like, she's changed all her passwords. She's done everything, but it seems to
Mm.
be happening constantly and more constantly, and it's like, man, I
Have
don't
they
know
got
what
access to her email maybe? Yeah, they must have
she
access to her
she's
email.
changed she's changed her password to everything now, and,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
I told her to take it to Genius Bar and or, not Genius Bar, what's that, the best spot? Geek Squad. Geek Squad.
Oh, Geek Squad, yeah, I've heard of them.
I
I'd love
really
Best Buy if theirs in the UK.
dude, they're awesome. I cannot go into a tech store without trying to buy something
That's the
because
problem, right?
yeah,
That's the problem.
my mom doesn't like me going into, like, Apple and stuff because I go in and I see something, I'm like, "Oh, I need this,"
Yeah,
and, she's actually stopped me a couple times because she was like, "Yeah, no, you don't." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm here, so why not?" Like, I
yeah,
want I'm actually trying to get my dad to upgrade his phone. He has an iPhone 12 Pro, and
yeah, it needs an
it
upgrade.
wasn't charging for a while,
Oh dear.
and I took a look at it, looked fine, whatever. I took a toothpick to the charging port, a huge piece of lint came out.
Oh, mate. See, I work for a network in the UK,
Yeah,
uh, one of the leading networks. So the amount of customers that come in say, "Oh, my charging port's not working anymore," mostly
yeah,
with Android devices.
yeah,
Uh, and I literally get a staple,
mhm,
I flatten it out, and I
yep,
use that as a tool to get the pocket lint out.
right.
There's one guy, he worked in a bar. He's a
Oh
manager of a
god.
bar, and even a bit of glass came out of his port. I was like, "What the
I believe
hell?"
it. I believe it.
He was so happy though. He was like, "Oh, I thought I was gonna have to get a new phone." I was like, "No, it's still working, man."
My
It's
dad's
just,
the same way, but I'm just like, you still need a new phone because sooner or later it's
but it's
gonna
like surgery though, because with the USB port, you don't want to hit that post in the middle. So you
yeah.
need to go around that. I think with older iPhones, you need to do like kind of the opposite. You don't want to scrape
Yeah.
around the outside, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like
It
surgery.
it's oh my god. I'm not into, like, that stuff, but I'm trying to get into, like, cleaning my devices a lot more because
Mm,
especially with the charging port and the speakers, I honestly and I've seen, a lot of people and this is what I even told my dad, instead of putting your phone in your pocket this way, you gotta put it this way,
mm,
because if you're putting the phone this way and the speakers and the charging port are hitting inside the pocket, you don't know
in the
what's
lint.
inside your pocket sometimes. You could have little pieces of like tissue or whatever, fabric from the pants or whatever, and it can easily get in there. So
Mm.
that's why I always say, put it like this and you'll be fine. Do people
Plus,
listen to me? No.
when you pull it out, it's the right way as well. It's like bang.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. That's a
Mm.
good point. Yeah. Yeah, because if you're doing it this way, then you're gonna have to flip the phone and
Do
yeah,
some
no.
gymnastics, hand gymnastics.
Yeah, I'm already getting arthritis just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's that's a recipe for disaster, man.
Yeah, man.
With
But
that though, quickly, screen in or out? In, right? It's got to be.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I mean, either way, it can get scratched and it
Of
can
course,
get,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? So I got a huge amount of cases. I'm honestly thinking of maybe getting those cases that are like wallets that
Yeah,
you can have your cards in and have it flap in and out. That way the screen's protected. Actually, one kind of case I should look into getting because those are good. I see a lot of people with Android having them. Not so much here in the US though. I've seen because I'm actually Portuguese, so
yeah.
I have a lot of family in Portugal. And I go there a lot, and I see a lot of people with those kinds of phone cases, I should say. Um, Speaking about though, you guys have more Android phones in Europe than we do here in the US.
Yeah, we are blessed with more choice. That's
Bro,
for sure.
bro. Another phone that I wish was still here in the US is Huawei.
Oh, mate, I'm a massive Huawei fan.
Are you?
So I feel you there, definitely. I'm devastated that they haven't got Google Mobile Services because I'm really baked into Google Mobile Services. I use the maps. I mean, I use their password manager, so
Yeah.
I'm really baked in. Huawei really innovate, and their ecosystem's amazing as well. Have you seen? I've seen some reels and some videos about how you can go like this with hand gestures
Uh-huh.
and take a
Uh-huh.
file from one device, plant it onto another device like that,
Yeah.
and it looks unreal. I don't know if it's how well it works.
Apple, you need that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, give us that, copy that
I
stuff,
I
please.
I said that, back when Android didn't have the, like, AirDrop, feature, I said that Android really needed that. But there's a lot of things that Android has that Apple really needs. I really feel that, and that's one of them. Something like that would be very beneficial. Especially imagine, with those, like, imagine using those and dropping files from
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
to your MacBook and vice versa.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that'd be
that
cool,
would
wouldn't
be
it? Onto your phone and
yeah,
so I wanna do something where there's like a magic portal
yeah.
and you can control, files between devices on that. That's quite cool. I was actually meant to get a tab today, but DHL let me down. Seriously, I have to quickly tell you this. This really annoyed me, right? So
Mhm.
they send me a text. They're
Oh,
saying between 4:35 and 5:35.
mhm.
So I get home from work early to get this package. It didn't come, so I checked my doorbell. I've got the Google Nest
Ooh,
doorbell.
okay.
He attempted to deliver at 12:55. Now
What?
I knew when I saw that he wasn't going to come back,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I got a notification about 6:24,
Mhm.
which probably is when he ended his shift, right?
Right.
Saying, "Oh, sorry, there's delays. There's been an incident." Yeah, right. No incidents.
Bro,
He finished
that's
his shift
crazy.
and put it back at the depot.
That is
Oh,
crazy. Yeah, I honestly hate when companies do that. But at the same time, if it's something expensive like that, I feel like that's a good thing.
to be
Um,
fair, I'm not going to lie. It was gift with purchase, so I'm getting the tab free, which
ooh,
is nice.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's
That
for getting this phone, you got
yep.
the Honor Pad 2 for free.
Wow, that's
I know.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Are you
yeah,
gonna do a review on your channel or
yeah. Well, I say yeah because I'd like to, but
yeah.
I need to get past my stumbling blocks of making excuses for time and overthinking, and I need to get past all that. But yeah, I would like to.
I
Yeah,
have that problem too, man. I have
yeah,
that problem too. I feel like we try to make it a certain like we have the video in our heads and
yeah.
we try to make it a certain amount of length of time, but it's never that because of the information. I started making shorter videos, not into like shorts, but shorter videos into like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. As long as you can zip through the information and you deliver on everything, and even if you don't, into editing, you can just put it on screen and leave it at
Yeah, that's
that.
what I'm thinking. 'Cause I don't like reading off specs, if I'm honest. Like,
Oh,
I
I don't
prefer to
either.
feel
And honestly, I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
that's
but
all.
I honestly think that specs, yes, the techies like it. The average person, they're they're not really gonna care. So what
Mm.
I do personally is I talk about day to day and whatnot, and I say if you guys want to look at the specs and stuff like that, link it down in the description.
Or here it is on the screen.
Yeah,
There you
exactly,
go.
exactly. And
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, yeah, in a way, you would probably get more engagement and comments and stuff like that. Because in my thing, I don't really get comments or anything or that much engagement.
It's really tough, man. It's,
Yeah.
um, the algorithm as well does not favor smaller channels. It
Uh,
really don't.
yeah.
Do you know what though? I don't really
And
care.
I
Like,
and I honestly think it's the community that you associate with sometimes. Like
mm,
you need to find your people.
Yeah.
because if you try with this one and that one, and sometimes you'll I've had times where I've seen bigger creators and I've like try to reach out to them and stuff. I keep telling this story. I had one creator to see if you know him. He's awesome. I love his energy on his videos and live streams and stuff like that. But when it came to my live streams and my videos, when I first started my channel, I had a Windows computer and it was very old, very slow. So much so that one time I was actually doing, I think it was my 2-year anniversary stream,
Okay.
and my computer, excuse my language, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Bruh, that's awesome." So now I'm on a MacBook M2. I had an Intel MacBook, and I love that. I mean, half the time when I'm editing my videos, I felt like my computer was gonna take off because the fans would go crazy. This M2 though, I barely hear a sound out of it sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear,
You know, I
all the day.
really, really like it. But going back to this creator, like, I thought he was a very cool dude, and he had so many people on. He was starting to do smaller creators, and I kind of got upset because I'm like, I was in all his live streams, commenting on all his live streams and videos and stuff like that, and
Mm.
he would never acknowledge me, and he would just acknowledge people that were younger and smaller than me. For a
Yeah.
while, he did for a while, but then even those people that had on his live streams have disappeared. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, what the heck? And these people had great potential. I'm not gonna lie, these people had great potential. The thing is, for me, when I had him on, my computer had so many issues during the live stream. I had to actually switch from my computer to my phone. And back then, StreamYard didn't let you start and stop live streams from your phone. So
Oh,
you would have
really?
to go back to the computer and stop the live stream. I had people that were on there message me and say, "This guy is laughing at you on the live stream." Yeah. And guess what? Since then, never talked to him again. I don't need
What,
people.
laughing at you or laughing about the situation a bit
The
or
situation. But he made comments about me saying that
uh,
I wasn't professional. And I'm just like, well, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to start out here and I'm trying to get, because
professional? What the he
my
used to
thing
see my
was,
YouTube. He'd rip
uh,
into me.
now I see that like there are certain people that do not belong in your circle.
Yeah.
Stick to the people that do, and go from there. I honestly, I love my community. I love the people that I've talked to, so much so that sometimes they're reoccurring guests on my podcast.
Yeah.
So that's why now I'm trying to branch out again and try to find new people. So I like making friends. Honestly, and I think you'll agree that this is the thing with YouTube. Talking to our friends and family and stuff like that, a lot of people don't care about the things we care about.
Yeah.
So having that community is just amazing, I think.
Yeah, my missus does not wanna hear about tech, so I need my tech friends to geek out and talk about
I
tech.
will say I have a group of friends that don't care and don't know anything about tech,
Mm,
but they will come on my live streams just to support me.
wow.
And I love that. And I love that.
Yeah.
Especially my fiance, she is amazing. She comes on and I actually made her a moderator. And one
Oh,
night
cool.
she actually took out so many hate comments and stuff. She was on a roll. I'm like, man,
Damn, she's good at
you're gonna delete my
this.
whole chat for freak's sake. Much love to you. Much love to you if you're watching this podcast. I'm just saying. But it's that kind of thing. Like, we need to build a community and we need to build friendships like that. It's
Yeah.
so great. I feel bad that half of my friends that I actually get along with are across the pond. And
Oh,
I'm just
really?
like, yeah, yeah. I have actually I only have like one or two friends that live like an hour from me. And
Okay.
and everybody else is like scattered throughout the US and the UK and stuff like that. My editor is actually from Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
What, Northern or Republic?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm not really sure.
You'd have to throw that question to him and say,
Yeah,
"Whereabouts?"
but
Because I'm not my surname's Irish.
oh, really?
Yeah, Hickey.
That's a small world there.
I mean, there's Irish in everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially a lot of people here. Man,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for joining me in today's podcast and talking a little bit. Where can people find you if they want to follow or subscribe?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. My YouTube channel is called Screen on Time YT. You see me on TikTok, Screen on Time, and I'm also on Instagram, Screen on Time IG. I sometimes hang out on X or Twix, I like to call it. I
Twix,
think I'm
yeah.
J Hickey 85 on there though. But also I do a podcast with my good friend Sam from St. Louis. We're called the Nomad Tech Project. So that's another YouTube channel to check out.
Awesome. I'll have links down in the description down below for you guys. As always, thanks you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Goodbye.